Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Bombastic Few, Season 2, Episode 3, total episode 16. I'm Daniel, and I'm with the other two hosts, Lindsay.
Welcome back. Another week, another podcast. Let's do this.
Another week, another podcast. Couldn't have said it better myself. And Brent.
I like how it became a meme that Lindsay was not introduced first, and now he always gets introduced first.
All right,
was
I'm going to
happy
cut
being
that.
second.
All right, I'm
happy
going to
being second.
rearrange the audio so that Brent gets introduced first.
Good man.
And then people are just going to be really confused since your whole introduction thing was talking about Lindsay going first. But that's okay. Before I introduce anything else, I feel I have to defend my honor a little bit because one of Brent's friends who listens to the podcast felt like I wasn't justified in shortening the last episode to leave for the competition. And this is my formal rebuttal. Mr. I don't think Brent ever gave me your name, but here goes. The direct quote is, if you're in a 48-hour board game competition, isn't it okay if you were 20 minutes late? As a percentage, that's pretty much nothing. And he also said his excuse doesn't hold water. Now, to preface, I only called it a 48-hour board game competition because it was easier to explain than what it actually was. I participated in the 2020 Global Game Jam, and it's not a competition. It's more like just a bunch of people who like gaming coming together and making their thing. So like our team was the only one that made a board game. Everyone else is making video games. And so like people are like borrowing artists from other teams. It was a really cool experience. They call it a game jam as like a they kind of envision it like how musicians come together and have jam sessions, but it's for gamers. So it's a pretty cool thing. But yes, to your first point, it would have been okay for me to miss 20 minutes of work time. That would have been totally fine across the 48 hours because everyone needs breaks. Everyone has other things they're doing across the weekend. So that would have been fine. But the first 20 minutes, like the most crucial point in this whole competition was like the first few hours because I would have missed the meeting where I confirmed my registry and they gave us the theme that we had to base our board game around. I wouldn't have ran into one of my friends who I didn't know was participating and was crucial to us finishing. And I would have missed a good deal of brainstorming. So, yeah, the first 20 minutes were pretty crucial to that and getting set up and getting myself in the right mindset. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if I have anything else to rebut.
Yeah. and I end my art case. Boom.
Everyone cheers in the jury. Actually, it's just me. I kind of view myself as like the judge, jury, and executioner of this podcast.
Have you ever actually seen Judge Dredd with Stallone?
No.
It's a good movie.
I should watch
Prime. It's like everything you want from an action.
Is it like
from its time?
It's like if I'm watching Expendables, it's not because I'm looking for a riveting plot line. It's because I just want to watch action scenes.
I mean, it has a plot.
It does have a plot, but I mean, I'm not watching Expendables for the plot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I was saying for the other movie, Judge Dredd.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then they rebooted it just called Dredd, and I tried watching it, and without Stallone, it's just not worth it. What are today's segments? Actually, there's something before that, but
does he have dreads?
No. Surprisingly.
No. Well. Anyways, now that I've proven my innocence, I would like to give a quick shout out to Oregon. We were looking at some of our listener statistics and we saw that like 18% of our total listens comes from Oregon. None of us know anyone from Oregon, but we're happy you found us. We hope you keep listening. And if you have any feedback, please share that with us. Shout out to Oregon. We also have like, there are listeners from places that none of us know anyone from, not just Oregon. It's just, that's 18% of our listens is pretty significant. It amounts to like 70 total plays or something like that. That's what we came out with, right, Brent?
Yep. The math said 70.
Yeah, you know.
And also we'll
we-
get listens
we
from
know how to
like
do a little bit of math.
I have a mathematics minor. That's
Oh,
right.
of course.
In addition to my ham radio license technician. So yeah, ladies, watch out. Anyway, we have like a listen in like the Netherlands. And so who knows?
Yeah.
And
I mean-
shout out to everyone else everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know us and you're a regular listener and you want to be shouted out, just contact us. You
Through
could leave a comment
comments.
in one of our YouTube
Give us
videos.
something
That's probably
funny
the
to say.
easiest. Yeah, something funny, or really anything. Or you can follow us on social media. Because Lindsay, do we have any follows? Do we have any follows yet?
We have follows, but it's like of people we know decently well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
So,
another week, another podcast.
week without networking.
Another week without networking. That's okay. That's okay because we do this podcast because we like it. And that's pretty much it. You may have also noticed that we have started an ad at the beginning of our episodes. And just to clear everyone's questions, it is because we're sellouts. It was all worth the 14 cents a piece we've made so far.
15 cents now.
Oh, really? Oh, man. The money's just flying in.
I need to quit my day job.
I already did. I'm not.
All right.
I quit school too.
So today's segments are an analysis of an online article we found, a hypothetical, because what is a podcast without a hypothetical? And
Snaps.
this podcast will be releasing on the 11th, which is 3 days before Valentine's Day. So we'll be talking about that a little bit, giving a little bit of advice because we've got a pretty good handle on Valentine's advice. So,
I mean, we have just holiday discussions. We have 2 hit singles on Thanksgiving and the other holiday. Oh, Halloween.
It's not that we're Valentine's Day special. We're just in general holiday specialists.
Exactly.
a lot of people come to me for holiday advice now. Podcast.
Yep. Oh man, Super Bowl. I basically got mugged.
Well, hold on. We never established if Super Bowl's a holiday or not.
That's true. Well, the people didn't know. They just wanted to. Yeah, it's impossible for me to just go down the street now because so many people's like, "Aren't you from We Bombastic Few?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." It's like, wow, I didn't know that I've met the main host, and it's like, "Yes, sir."
They hear your voice on the podcast and they just instantly conjure up an image of what you actually look like.
Well,
That's the atmosphere we've.
Well, no,
created
they
here.
know it from the picture attached to the. It's the thumbnail.
Oh, right.
They recognize me
Right,
from
yeah.
that.
I forgot about this amazing artwork that we have here at the beginning.
Also, fun fact: I don't think we ever told the listeners. I am the one in the middle.
Oh right, yeah. He drew himself as the one in the middle because he likes Superman. He drew a Superman curl, but I said that's unrealistic because Brent would never do a push-up on a table that said "We Bombastic Few" on it.
I'm not doing a push-up. My arms are simply out. Like, imagine my arms out, palms on the desk, like a power move, as I'm finishing one of my points. I imagine that's how people already think of me.
Just banging the table with your fists.
Yeah, demanding that people agree with me. This has been a really long intro. Do we want to move on?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we were just kind of riffing. I don't know. I for the record, I'm the guy with the propeller hat, which
Is
I
the
think
guy
is
on the
fitting.
right.
Is that
And-
the right?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Wow. And then Lindsay actually isn't shown on this. We don't know who the guy to the left is. He just kind of shows up for recordings.
I think that's the manager.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know where Lindsay is.
Lindsay,
Yep.
can you have anything to say about that?
Artists couldn't capture my beauty on that. I'm sorry, that was too far fetched. The artist couldn't capture my ugliness on that thumbnail, so they just kept it plain simple. Put the manager on there.
Man, that manager's got some small arms. You ever notice that?
I have
got,
noticed
like,
how small.
T-Rex arms.
I have
mean-
noticed that about the manager.
That reminds. I just saw like a little picture, and it was a screen cap from a square in a Spider-Man comic, and it's Spider-Man going, "Wait, you have the ability to change human DNA on the fly, and you're using it to turn people into dinosaurs? With that tech, you could cure cancer." And then it's the villain on the other side, and he's a big dinosaur. He goes, "But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs."
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure that's what happened to our manager.
do dinosaurs have cancerous cells? Are they less likely to die of cancer?
That should be our hypothetical.
Yeah,
one of these days.
are dinosaurs less likely to die of cancer? Go with us through the 3-part series where we explore.
Statistically, there has not been a single recorded instance of a dinosaur dying from cancer.
Exactly. So maybe the villain's just thinking 3 steps ahead.
There's something
Well,
to that.
as the intro continues, I'm the only one who knows the bombastic word. At least I'm the one who.
I mean,
knows
we're
how
all
to
looking
pronounce
at,
it
but go ahead.
without guessing it. It is widdershins, a direction contrary to the sun's course, considered as unlucky, or also can be used to refer to moving counterclockwise.
Wait, so counterclockwise is contrary to the. Oh, I see. I was like in a
I said
direct.
also can be referred to going clockwise.
I gotcha. No, I misread. I said in a direction contrary to the sun. So I was like, is counterclockwise just always opposite to the direction of the sun? But it's the sun's course. That makes more sense. Widdershins. Okay, that'll be tricky.
Well, but okay, possibly stupid comment, but doesn't the sun change east to west or west to east depending on what hemisphere you're in?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
It moves along the equator east to west.
All right, I'm gonna look this up, and if I'm wrong, we're cutting this.
No, we're not
I'm
cutting
not
nothing.
I think you're thinking of like if you're on one hemisphere, like your toilet flush is going like one direction. If you're on the other hemisphere, it like goes the other direction because of some phenomenon that I am blinking on the name of right
I
now.
forget about that, but that's such a fascinating thing. I always forget.
All right,
Just
so
'cause-
that's getting cut. Moving on.
I don't know why he thought. You ever wonder why time zones work, Brent? It's
Well,
because the sun's rising
okay.
earlier in the east.
There's something. It's something about.
Their toilet water.
It's connected. It's all a conspiracy.
All right.
You know what? I never finished introducing the segments because we got to Valentine's Day and kind of went on a tangent. But online article,
Continue going on.
hypothetical, because what is a podcast without a hypothetical? Valentine's Day discussion, a mini hypothetical, and we'll be continuing our world building. So we've done bombastic word, and oh yeah, that's everything. Brent, you wanna take it from here?
I suppose I'll stop my research in trying to justify that. But, okay, so we are going to talk about an article from the artofmanliness.com, great website, called The 5 Types of Friends Every Man Needs by Jeremy Anderberg. And so he breaks up every classification of friends into 5 different broad archetypes. And then, so we're going to just read those out and then talk about what we think about the classifications, if there's any that need to be added, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so first one he classifies is the mentor. The mentor is also somewhat, all these are going to be direct quotes, by the way, taken directly from the article. Anyway, the mentor is also someone who can give you constructive criticism when he sees something not going so well in your life. Perhaps you've gained a bit of hubris with your new promotion, or he catches you flirting with the barista who is very much not your girlfriend. Many a man will shrink from confrontation, but the mentor brings it up because he ultimately wants you to be a better man. The next classification is the wingman. And he says for this one, we're defining the wingman more broadly as the buddy who gives you confidence when interacting with the opposite sex. Two is always better than one, especially in social settings, and the wingman is adept at making any outing go smoother and feel less stressful. Often gregarious and charismatic, the wingman takes the pressure off you to strike up conversations as he is able to draw people over and put them at ease. And then the next one he has is the handyman. He is the guy in your life who just seems to know everything about everything. He can help you with home improvement projects. He can tell you how to grill the perfect steak. He can even give you tips for negotiating on that car you're looking to buy. He's similar to the mentor, but instead of waxing philosophical, the handyman gives you practical tips that can be implemented right now. And then he has the fitness buff. The fitness buff may be our least favorite friends. He can run marathons with ease. He can bike hundreds of miles without breaking a sweat. He trains for Ironman triathlons like it's his job, and he even enjoys it. What's the worst part of it all? He loves to invite you along, and he won't stop inviting you unless you say yes. And finally, he's got the work pal. The beauty about the work pal is that you can lower your expectations a little bit. This isn't to sound harsh, but he doesn't need to be your best friend for the rest of your life. He just needs to help you get through the week. And if you happen to hit it off, you can always take this friendship out of the office. So, those are the 5 classifications of different friends. What are your guys' first impressions?
I think I've had some of those, like, at least at some point in my life, I've had each of these categories of friends.
Definitely. I mean, there's got to be some truth to that. That's why there's that article.
Yeah, but so going through them more specifically, like the mentor, it's strange to think of a mentor as a friend though, almost. But cuz specifically people in your life who are older than it doesn't have to be someone who's older than you, but it most certainly probably would be. And so that's a strange thing to call them your friend, but they certainly are, because they know what's best for you and know you pretty well. And then it's interesting to see, because it's like I have been these in one situation or another. It's like even at one time I was the fitness buff in that I convinced a couple of friends to run a half marathon. So I think this is a pretty good classification of them. But I think we should add in the truck friend. He's the friend that you have that brings to the table a truck for transportation.
You never know
needs.
when you're gonna need a truck.
Exactly.
Like, I'll just be looking on Craigslist in the free section. I'm like, well, that looks cool, but I don't have a car that can move that, and that's why you need a friend with
getting
a truck.
And solely for that reason, I've decided not to get a truck.
Ask too much to transport
yeah.
stuff.
Let's go through like who each of us think that we are and what the other two people think that the other person is.
In like the most situations or relative to each other?
I think we should go with who in most situations. I mean, we can play it off.
Because I was going to say, I definitely just
depth.
think of Daniel as the work pal.
Dang.
Shoot the breeze, but outside, you should hear us after the podcast. No. Work pals are honestly...
I mean, we don't talk to each other outside of the podcast. So,
I literally
we
don't
really
know
are
who
just
this man
work
is.
pals.
No, like work pals are actually great though, because it's like there are so many people that I've like had a friendship with at work who under no circumstance would I ever talk to them outside. Like people.
Shout out to all the people Brent works with who listens to the podcast.
Okay. I asked one of my managers to listen to it, but I don't know if he actually did. But no, he's a super cool dude. He's not included in the work pal. Anyway, but like it's cool because it's like there are some people that's just like, yeah, it's not even that I wouldn't want to hang out with them. It's just that we have zero common ground. But then like in a work environment, it's like, well, who else are you going to talk to? So it forces you to find something to talk about.
Well, work in itself is a common ground, and if
Well,
you
it
take
is,
work
but that can
away,
get
it's like-
very boring.
yeah, exactly. Like once you try to take that away, make a friendship more than it, sometimes it can not work out as well as you think it's going to.
Oh yeah, and it's like I don't know about you guys, but like I have friends around campus who the only reason I know them is because we struck a conversation once in passing, and now we just talk to each other when we see each other on campus. I've never had a class with them. I've never, nothing. I just talk to them because I talk to them.
See,
And
I don't think my
so-
campus is small enough for that.
I don't even know. I don't even remember how I first talked to some of those people. Like, I don't think it's because we're a small campus. It's just like, oh, you know what? One of them, he used to work in the cafeteria at the Mongolian grill part, and so we would just be talking while I was waiting for my food to be ready. That's how it all started. Now every time I see him, I have like a short conversation with him, just catching up. But I've never hung out with him.
Yeah, I think there needs to be an addendum to the work pal, which is like the school pal, which are like people who you have classes with. And because it's like in college, there will be times where it's like for a semester, I'll have a class with someone and just waiting for class to start, I'll talk to them literally every single day, like 3 times a week, every week for an entire semester. And then by the end, it's like, I remember specifically one time, there was this guy that I talked to literally every single day. And at the end of the semester, when we were like parting ways for the rest of our lives, we didn't even know each other's names. But like, I could tell you how many siblings he had. I could tell you what his like Christmas vacations were. I could tell you anything about him except his name.
Dang. So I want to go into the mentor a little bit. It's kind of interesting because at this point in our lives, like, there aren't too many people. Like, obviously, if you see a friend like who is messing up, you're gonna give them advice. But I don't know if anyone our age is like totally qualified to give advice in a number of areas yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The person who comes to mind for me like is sort of handyman, but like it's not. It's just he's only a year older than me, but he like literally it's more of like computer and double E stuff that I'll ask him about. But even just general stuff, a lot of times he'll just know about it. And so I would it's not necessarily like wisdom, even though that's what the mentor is implying, but just like someone who just like if you have a general question that Google isn't going to help, he's the guy I'd go to.
Yeah, it's like, and then for handyman, I mean, at this point, it's my dad is the handyman in my life, and then I have people right now. I have people in my mind who I'm guessing will become the handyman. You know,
Such as myself.
maybe. Can you grill the perfect steak?
I can grill a steak. The perfect steak I'm not too sure about.
I'll figure it out. I need to learn how to do some grilling from like my dad and my uncles. It's like I know enough that I can get by, but just getting like the juiciness and tenderness just right, like that's what you're looking for.
See, but like
Yeah.
that becomes a lifestyle. You gotta commit, like you gotta become a monk basically to fully learn the way of the grill.
Well, I mean, at some point in my life, I hope to study as a Tibetan monk. So
It's in grilling, specifically.
in grilling, I'll be like, all the other monks, they'll have shaved heads and they're meditating and stuff, and I'm just grilling up meats for them and stuff.
They force you to
It'll be a good
like
time.
carry a grill up a mountain to learn patience, and then like
I can only use one coal to grill.
yeah, to learn like determination or something. I could totally see that. Let's start a monastery for grilling.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And then like what the sacred text we study is just the podcast episodes.
No, it's literally just like a grill manual.
Good George Foreman grill stuff.
Yeah, George Foreman's
We just
the
have
founder.
A picture. Yeah, we just have a picture, like a huge portrait of George Foreman on all of our walls.
And it's like super.
It's like the stereotypical totalitarian regime propaganda. It's like the eye is always watching, but it's just George Foreman.
Dude, I think we just created the next big religion.
I hope not.
Scientology? Never heard of it.
Grillism?
Yeah.
Oh. Are we already splitting? All right. We got to go in separate ways.
You know, to your point, Brent, I do kind of think of you as a fitness buff, but not in the same
Honestly?
way. Like, just whatever your hobby is, you're trying to get people into it.
Yeah.
Yes, but I see
recruiter.
Brent more as like the handyman than the fitness buff, honestly, because I never followed Brent on his fitness buff stuff.
That's true, but I mean, how many people really follow in their fitness buff's footsteps?
That's kind of the point of the fitness buff.
Yeah.
I
I don't have any good wingmen in my life.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm such a good wingman.
I was gonna say,
Dude.
out of all the 5, Lindsay, you definitely get to be the wingman.
See,
Okay.
I would think I would be an okay wing. When I was asking like who we think we would be, I was thinking I might be a better mentor than I would be a wingman. But I will take that so proudly.
What the heck, Lindsay? Why am I single? You're my wingman, bro.
You've never. I don't know, dude. Let's go out, dude.
There's yeah.
All right, yeah,
boom.
Come down to my place. We'll hit the town.
It also clarifies later in the article that the wingman is also someone who will like try to get you to do things, or like when you're married, he'll try and get you to just be active and like do stuff. So like he'll bring up like, let's go to the zoo today, and like he's got like no plans in his life, so he's the guy that you like can call last minute and he's down to do something.
Okay, well,
so true, but
Wait,
in that aspect, I'm the wing. All of my plans are last minute.
Yeah, you are incapable of making plans ahead of time.
Very true, Daniel.
But I honestly like
in a strange turn of events, I am the wingman.
Yeah, or
Hey, coaches don't play. Coaches don't play. So if you're the wingman, you have to be single.
I have helped my friends out in these situations. I'm kind of the wingman.
There you go. We got 2 wingmen and 1 handy fitness man, or a buff handyman. I like that combination better.
No. We're not gonna feed your ego that much.
You get 1,
Yeah.
just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Then I choose the mentor. Moving on.
Anyways,
Continuing.
Moreover,
so
beyond that,
all right, Lindsay,
In addition,
it's your thing. You just got.
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
I
What?
thought we were doing a little rant there. Okay.
Oh. Well, I
The
mean, we were.
bombastic quote of the day or the week
feel
of the podcast episode, or whatever you want to call it. To be or not to be are 2 rhetorical questions asked in such. I can't read. Okay, sorry.
To be or
Cut
not to
that
be
part.
are 2 rhetorical questions asked in much too rapid of a fashion to fully consider the implications of the possible outcomes as a result of choosing one or the other.
See,
good
I
job,
read
Brent,
over that
but,
like 5 times before this episode, just trying to make sure I wouldn't mess up. And as you guys just heard, I messed up.
Well, you know, Brent, this is Lindsay's segment, so now he's gonna have to read it.
Nope, ain't gonna happen, muchacho.
Hypotheticals. How about them? Because what's a podcast? Well, a hypothetical. Lindsay,
Man,
go.
I just love hypotheticals.
I
I-
love hypotheticals.
I do.
All right,
Hypothetically.
hypotheticals. All right, so have you ever needed a little more sleep? I have, but I can only sleep in for so long. My body's used to I can get no more than 8 hours a night. So I went on a journey. I did some meditating. I did a little bit of what's that called? What's the NyQuil? I did a little bit of that stuff.
I did a little of the, you know what?
Hey, bro, want to come over and do some NyQuil?
I've done a little bit of that, and I've tried the melatonin, and I've tried the I don't know what's something else. I've tried the comfy beds. I've tried everything. Well,
What's your sleep number?
My sleep number? That is a good question. I've not figured that out. That might be the answer. Why didn't you tell me this before I went on this multiple month-long journey?
I
All
mean,
right. Well, I created this device that everyone would have to sleep 20 hours of the day because everyone's tired now. So I wanted everyone to get more rest and be more energetic. But the downside is you only get to spend 4 hours a day to be productive.
well, before we go into the implications of this, do you want to explain how the science behind this works?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. So like this machine, it's you figured out you studied NyQuil, you studied melatonin, uh,
Okay,
and
okay,
you
okay, okay,
realize what
okay.
it does to the brain. So this machine, does it send out like wavelengths that alters your brain to
Oh,
have the
okay,
same
okay.
effects, or
I
what?
apologize. I didn't clarify this. So kind of, I got my inspiration actually. We just talked about this. Was the villain from the Amazing Spider-Man first movie? How he made the cloud that turned everything into the reptiles.
The lizard?
Okay.
Yeah, so I made a
Yeah.
concoction of NyQuil, dissolved melatonin inside of NyQuil, some suppressive drugs.
Are you a terrorist?
Um,
Did you release a biological weapon of mass destruction
I
across the entire world?
weapon? No.
Destruction? That's a stretch.
Well,
No.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think so. When we get into this, continue.
So I did all the research. I looked up everything that had to do with helping you sleep, and every tool for that I just put together to a little concoction, and then I evaporate that into the entire world's atmosphere. I meant to just do one town, but I didn't calibrate the machine before I did it. So the entire world inhaled this invisible gas, I guess, some kind of gaseous
So glad
concoction
you
that I
know all
made.
the science.
Well, I know, but a concoction of the air is what I was thinking. And
Right. Science.
okay, so everyone
Quantum.
inhaled it,
You forgot about the
and
quantum stuff.
yeah, sure, and yeah,
Oh,
that's how it
yeah.
happened. That's how it happened.
Flux capacitors were involved. The whole 9 yards. Um, but so it started. When did you do this, by the way?
Last night.
All right. So, starting last night, every single person now has to sleep for 20 hours a day. And that's going to be like the average 8 hours, to where it's like, because there are people who sleep like 6 hours a day, and that's enough to keep them fully rested. And then there are some people, as such as myself, who are able to sleep 11 hours a day, counting naps. And so, we'll add the same tolerances, but so we'll say like there are some people who only need 18 hours of sleep a day, and then there are some people who, if they like take naps or whatever, they still would need naps to feel fully rested. Then they need like 21 hours of sleep a day. So suddenly your ability to like how much sleep just naturally you need is a lot more important, because for the people who need less sleep, they've added 50% to their day by getting another 2 hours.
So I have a question,
Yes. You in the back.
slightly unrelated.
Bad looking propeller hat. Yes.
Oh, so Professor Superman Curl.
Yes.
What
Dr.
is a
Superman
sleep
Curl.
number? You asked
Dr.
Lindsay what a
Superman
sleep
Curl.
number is. And I do not know what that. What is a sleep number?
It's a brand of bed that I don't know what the brand is. I think it might just be I don't know. Anyway, there's a like they're air mattresses that deflate or inflate based on a remote.
Specific
And
areas.
I assume that the number is a percentage, but I have no idea. And so like if you want a harder mattress, you set it higher to like 70 or 80 or something, and then you can make it softer by lowering it to like 60 something. And they say that like their branding is like if you get the right sleep number, you could sleep forever. But that is not important, because that is not what this is about. So,
Well, I wasn't sure. I had to be sure that it was irrelevant.
so the one thing that I want to talk about is jobs suddenly became really hard to do because your average shift is like 6 to 8 hours, and that is almost double the time that you are awake. So,
That's very true.
like,
But at the same time, like this is kind of like here, finish that thought and then I'll continue my thought.
Well, it would be interesting to talk about this if it happened from the beginning of like humans developing, but saying it just started to happen, like first off, people are gonna panic when it's like they
society
just the
might
first
crumble.
day, everyone panics. It's like I'm late to work by 12 hours. No, and then let's say society doesn't crumble to make this more interesting. So the government assigned us to a task force known as the we are now sleeping 20 hours a day task force, please help us. And so we got to make society work. How are we going to do it?
You know, it's kind of interesting. To your point, is like the day after, everyone's gonna be coming to their boss, and, like, or emailing their boss and like, "Hey,
Yeah.
sorry I missed work yesterday. I don't know what happened. I slept for 20 hours." And the boss is either gonna play it off and be like, "Well, don't do it again," or he's gonna be like, "Yeah, me too."
But yeah, don't do it again. It's like, no way, I did that too.
God, why did everyone sleep 20 hours last night?
Well, and then like I don't know how it would work for people working the night shift, but like that it would be concerning because it's like assumedly I guess you could wake them up, they'd just be ridiculously tired. And so everyone would like doctors' offices would be flooded initially, being like, "Yo, doc, I'm sleeping 20 hours." But then eventually, I guess after like a day or two, the news would eventually let out. It's like, yeah, there was a terrorist named Lindsay, and he released a bioweapon. So this is life now. You're sleeping 20 hours. So the
Okay.
panic's gone after a couple days, I'd think.
Okay, so here's my thought. How much time do you think you spend a day eating?
Oh,
Because now a majority of your available time is going to be trying to recover. Like your body's going to want to eat,
I mean,
right?
dude,
the world's just gonna
100%.
start multitasking.
They're gonna have to, or you're gonna die. Like,
Well, so wait. So, what? How long can you stay awake after 20 hours? Because it's not necessarily. Is it 20 hours every day, or every time you fall asleep, you're asleep for 20 hours?
20 hours
every
is the
day.
recommended time of sleep.
So it's like-
if you don't get 20 hours, you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel very drowsy. You're going to not be at your peak.
It's exactly what Lindsay's saying, where it's like 8 hours is recommended right now. And so if you go for a day without 8 hours, the next day you're gonna like severely suffer.
Like right now, if you're able to work for some reason, if you're able to actually function properly on 4 hours of sleep, that means still 10 in this situation, you'd be at 10 hours a day. See what I'm saying? Like this,
Yeah.
the recommendation has increased. Your body's need has increased.
So the one thing that I think that like we would need to do is basically we need to like offset people's sleeping cycles, just because like there are some things that always need to be monitored, and so we can't have like everyone in the world be awake for the same amount of time. People like we're gonna have to segment the day into like 6 separate segments of 4 hours, and where it's like what awake segment are you? And it's like, oh, I'm a 2. And so that person's like awake from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then they sleep.
So,
Yeah.
like, picture oversleeping now. So, like, if you stay up a lot, if you stay up for like 8 hours,
Okay.
and you end up oversleeping for 4 hours, like, oh no, I overslept. It's the same time as when I fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, but
Okay,
so
actually,
if you but staying up for 8 hours would be the equivalent for staying up for like 24 hours to us, or even more so. So
It'd be more. I mean, you're staying up for twice as long as. when
yeah.
you
So
stayed
like
up. So-
32 hours. It would be the equivalent of staying awake for 32 hours for us.
Okay. I've got a little side tangent, but it will wrap around. So
Okay.
like,
Have at
I
it.
someone at work told me a story or something. It might have been you, Brent. I don't know. Someone told me a story about how there was this deaf guy. And he went his entire life not knowing that uh, farts were audible. So like he was on a date or something like that, and he farted, and he just saw like his date gave this the dirtiest look. It's because as long as his life, no one told him that farts were audible. Like he just it never came up in topic. So what if there were some people that they went through their lives where no one really uh like for some reason no one mentioned to them that there's a sun or that the sun goes down. Like for some reason that just didn't even cross their mind. No one brought up in conversation. There could be people that didn't know that there was a sun, or people that would know that the sun goes down because you're only awake for 4 hours, and the sun's up for what, about 8, 9?
Well, I feel like that would almost, because it's like, in order for that to happen, I'm imagining someone who would is like blind and deaf, and
Well,
so
I know, but I'm talking extremes here. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, I'm like, this extreme is pretty much simplified down to there are going to be people who don't see the sun the majority of their life, or don't see nighttime for the majority of their life. Like, they'll just go continue throughout their life, and just because they're shift number 3, they're from 8 to 12, they see the sunlight every day, no matter what time of the year. Whereas a shift 1 will be only from midnight to 4 a.m.
yeah, that's a good, like, there would be some people who never saw the sun again. Or maybe you got to switch every now. Well, no, because then you'd have to.
Well,
You almost couldn't.
either you switch shifts, or a lot of people are going to start taking vitamin D pills.
Yeah. Or no, you just have to sleep in the sun. Like,
Yeah, or it's going to change architecture because now you're going to start building sunlights in every, or not sunlights. What's it called when you have a window in your ceiling?
sunroof.
Yeah, you're gonna have a sunroof in every single bedroom.
Yeah. Well, okay. So going back, I think we should explore work because, like, how are we gonna keep jobs? Because you'd almost have to be working the entire time you're awake, and even then, there are plenty of jobs that if like because every worker can now only do 4 hours, and that's their entire day.
Um, I mean, it might get more efficient because like no one's gonna be burning out by the end of their shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. You put forth all your, but like you'd almost have to make it 3 hours because it's like people aren't
Otherwise,
gonna
you get
want
no
to.
free time.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and people aren't gonna want to. They're just gonna be like, "What's the point?"
Well, I mean, you guys are talking about being like exhausted of it, but like now our bodies have only 4 hours of energy to exhaust. So we will get drained and exhausted by the time our shift is over, even if it is 4 hours. Like,
So okay, so theoretically, since 8 hours is quote unquote like half of our awake time, depending, and so maybe people are working 2 hour shifts.
that would be
Okay.
ideal
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
it's relative to what it is now.
And,
Yeah.
but
Time.
So like
but
9 to 5 becomes
even
just
though
a
we
2 hour
got
shift for whatever you're awake for.
even though we got like but we get tired and stuff, being asleep for 20 hours, because like a lot of good things happen during sleep in terms of like helping you create memories and like healing and stuff, and
That's true.
body
Health will be
growing.
up.
And so like that'd be interesting to find out how that would affect just
But
people. Like, would we
long
become well work that's another thing. I feel like working out would no longer be even remotely possible.
It'd be possible. It wouldn't be nearly as necessary, I think.
You'd almost have to design a way for people to do it in their sleep.
No, because their sleep is to actually get efficient sleep, your body needs to be able to completely relax and recover. Your
Well, but
sleep is to
we
recover
you
your
wouldn't do it
muscles,
the
but it's
entire time.
recharge.
Maybe just 8 hours of your sleep.
You can do like that. There's it's not efficient as actually working out, but like the vibration therapy or like the shock therapy stuff,
Yeah.
where like people like
And hope it
work their
doesn't wake you.
muscles. Well, yeah, but I'm saying they could do that while they're actually working or something like that. They can find time to do it during their day. That way, they're not actually focused on it.
Can you imagine if an emergency happened? Like, so imagine something bad happens. Like there's a fire in a building or something. Only a sixth of the world is awake at any given point.
Freaking
So
shift. One shifter freaking burned down my apartment complex today.
yeah, exactly. Like the like firefighters and or like any emergency response, like police. There's a sixth of the criminals and like stuff as well. But then like firefighters or something, like their uh, job doesn't necessarily go down. So
I feel like most jobs. I mean, yeah, all jobs pretty much would have to. Virtually all jobs would have to increase their employees, the number of employees.
almost double because or quadruple if we're going with an 8-hour shift and people only work 2 hours.
Yeah.
And what about school? Like,
I was just about to start talking about that. Like, not only like taking classes and stuff, but how do you adjust to a work to going from school sleep hours to work sleep hours? You know, like
how do you
maybe
mean?
maybe in school you took classes from 8 to 11 a.m.
Okay.
and then you get a job and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna need you to work 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Just switching
that sucks
cycles.
to adjust. Yeah.
Well, you could make a like the cycles, or you could make like school cycles in the morning and such. But the what I'm more concerned is like because this happened all of a sudden. So how are teachers gonna change? Like I'm thinking specifically like elementary school. Let's just take. So it's like how are you gonna teach kids all the material in 2 hours or 3 hours or however long?
Primary education is going to become lecture hall style, and
Yeah.
each teacher is going to take a different shift. But you know what we haven't talked about? Like we've talked about how work's going to have to hire more people, but the implications of that, like the unemployment crisis, doesn't exist anymore. Like everyone's gonna have a job. There's going to be a shortage of workers, actually.
Yeah. Well, but then there's also going to be a whole lot of optimization. Like a lot of jobs that, like, for example, like I'm just thinking about like some retail jobs that I've worked. And I'm like, they totally could have cut off a couple of people. Like we didn't, because there are times where people are just walking around, not doing anything, and it's like we could optimize. Everything would have to become super optimized in terms of how stuff works. For some reason, when you started that tangent, I thought you were going to say we're bringing Blockbuster back, but
Well, obviously that's where that was going, right?
oh, that's the movie industry. Can you imagine going to see a movie that's 2.5 hours? Like that's over half of your time awake.
Honestly, I love that. Movies are way too long now.
They'd have to be like even a 30. Can you imagine a 30-minute movie? Equivalent now would be what? Like
I mean, movie theaters
like two.
would like
oh, I guess
their
that's two.
primary audience would be coming in on the weekends.
Well, but people have to go in on the weekends at this point because there's no way all
Exactly.
the stuff got done.
I mean, so like you got like high school students and you've got adults coming in on the weekends. That's it.
Yeah. But movies would have to
Oh,
change to be like a half hour long, I'm saying. Because there's no way people would go for 2.5 hours.
dude, kids are gonna have to become a lot more autonomous because their
Oh.
parents are gonna be working who knows what hours or even awake. Who
Or,
knows what
yeah, I
hours.
was just going to say shifts.
They're going to school at whatever time, you know.
Do you think we would... Well, you'd almost have to like arrange families such that they're on the same like awake shifts. Because can you imagine if like your parents a shift 3, your dad's a shift 5, and you're a shift like 9? Like you would literally never see each other except when you're sleeping.
Dude, and you know what? There's going to be a lot more rush hours. Like, do you think rush hours will get better even though there's more of them? or worse since everyone's working.
You'd almost have to. Do you think cars don't even seem practical at that point? Where it's like, because everything, like, you can't oversleep. You need to get to your job on time. So suddenly, like, a train or something becomes a lot more valuable because everyone's on the same like, strict time schedule. Also, I'd like to point out, I said like shift 9, but that's more than the 4-hour breaks in a day. I just like to point out, I noticed I said that.
Yeah, but maybe every job's going for 24 because you're losing so much productivity.
Oh, yeah.
And not working at the same time as other people that there's going to be 12 2-hour shifts. You know?
Yeah. 12, dang.
So
What
I don't
what
know,
about
can you
sports? You think sports are still? I always want to go to sports.
I mean, we have to. Every hypothetical directly affects sports now.
Exactly. Can you imagine something like a sixth or I guess like only 1/6 of the people are going to experience the Super Bowl live. Everyone else is asleep.
Well, that's interesting. Well, obviously the Super Bowl's not going to be a holiday now. Since,
Obviously.
I mean, that's the only thing that seems reasonable to me.
But like, would you? Because how long does a football game go on normally? It's broken up into quarters of 15 minutes, but then there's like timeouts, right?
Yeah, there's timeouts, and then you have commercial breaks. There's not going to be commercials anymore. I mean, to make things practical, you're not going to be able to have time to throw in advertisements, or no show's going to get watched. Or maybe there's ads, but they're going to cost a lot less money.
Is there even TV though? Because are you willing to waste like? I feel like it would change society to be like, all right, no longer can you waste your time. You need to do what's important to you. Because like if you want to,
I mean, there's also news. You might be watching the news.
Yeah, but it'd be like an accelerated version, like literally just like a running title of just or like what's the thing at the bottom that like scrolls through text? That's just the entire screen, and it goes by really quick, and it's like, here's the ultra important news, and you're good. And
but then there's also going to be the news host talking in case you cut in, and maybe it has a schedule. It's like at this time the news host will be talking about this, so you might stay up a little later to watch that.
Or they play it
and
during
then
work.
It's just on a 2-hour loop. So it's a 2-hour show, and it's just on. That's every channel is a 2-hour loop, so that everyone gets a chance to watch whatever they wanted to watch. So you're gonna cut out a lot of the stuff that no one's interested in, but they put on because people watch it anyways.
Do you think this would?
If you want a TV slot, the quality of your show is going to have to go up by a lot to kick out whatever other shows are on.
Netflix is in danger. That's all I'm going to say.
Not necessarily, because then you can watch anything you want at any time you want, just like it is now.
But like so many shows on Netflix are just like they go nowhere and they're really long, have filler episodes. Anyway, so do you think this would? Are we saying it's affecting animals?
Animals?
I mean,
animals aren't. I mean, do the same chemicals that make humans sleep 20 hours a day make animals?
Well, the question is,
be as potent though. I think it would affect it a little bit as long as they're air breathing.
Because
squirrels will get infected a lot, but
it's squirrels.
But like horses, I mean, they might get affected a little bit, but like Lindsay said, like the power of the sedative that affects humans isn't going to affect bigger animals as much.
So, like, did we just kill every single like mouse ever because they're so small?
Their sleep cycle.
Well, I don't know, but I would assume that powerful of a sedative for like
how long can they go without eating?
I don't know. Probably not if it's a 24-hour period that they need to sleep.
What's the purpose of mice and rats?
Scare elephants. Eat snakes.
To Tom and Jerry, boom roasted.
Do you have a legit answer?
I mean,
I'm not sure. 'Cause I mean they definitely fall on like the food chain.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I think you have a good point there. Like bees might be killed off, which those are necessary, but rats, I don't know, and mice, I don't know if those are necessarily required in.
Well, I don't know that it's chemicals that wake up. I think chemicals activate in their brain like with the sun, right?
But air breathing, do you don't think they could be affected by sedation?
I already made my false
I
science
mean-
claim for the episode, so I'm going to stay out of this.
I'm
I mean,
asking.
you
legit
can
question here.
you can
I
calm
want-
down you can calm down bees with like smoke. That's how beekeepers
Yeah,
go
that's
into.
what I'm
I
wondering.
don't think that puts them to sleep though, does it?
I don't think so.
I think it just calms them down, keeps it severely lowers their aggression levels. I'm not sure. Maybe it puts them in a sleepy state. I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, there is
I mean-
one thing we can be sure of.
We still have
Bedtime?
podcasts.
The sun will switch directions. All right.
No, you're still wrong. I'm still not cutting that out.
No, okay. Final thoughts by anyone?
No, I'm not
I
regretting the
feel like
creation of it.
I feel like that's it. I mean, Lindsay's a terrorist. That's what I've gathered.
For real. We're going to report you.
Called out.
So this we're making up for last episode. This one's going to be a little bit longer, but we missed you, so we're going to keep going with what we had planned.
We missed you.
I think it's
You're all
time for an
sad
ad
here.
break, right? I mean,
I think it
done with
is.
We need
hypothetical?
our real sponsor here.
All right. So, have you and your roommate ever both needed to shower, but you only have one at your dorm or apartment?
Well, I shower with my
I've got-
roommate.
Oh. Well,
I don't. I need this. I need to hear this.
I mean, if Lindsay needs to hear this, then I guess I'm gonna have to advertise it because I totally had an advertisement after Brett said I shower with my roommate. Good. We've got the product just for you. It is the shoot.
Tandem
My paper kind of tore here, but I know
Tandem showers. Let me hear tandem showers.
yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. But the actual product name, you know what's it
Shower
called?
buddy?
Cubicle, shower cubicles.
Oh, the shower cube.
From now on, you'll never have to waste time by only showering one person at a time. This cubicle installs directly into your shower and splits it in half so that half the water goes to one side and half the water goes to the other. And never fear for not being able to reach the soap or shampoo stations because they've put... It also comes with shelves on one side so that you can just put a second set there.
Right.
Huh.
This is a needed product for all those out there.
This is what I need because, like, there are 3 people living in my apartment. We only have 2 bathrooms, so now, I mean, this greatly increases efficiency.
Exactly.
You know what I just thought of, Brent? This has nothing to do with the ad break. You missed a great opportunity to throw in Widdershins when you were going on that tangent about the sun.
Ah, well, but that
Oh,
I
that
got
was
on
right
the
after,
tangent.
though.
Yeah,
But,
I was
like,
gonna
right
say.
after- you kind of brought it up after the hypothetical.
Yeah,
you
you
totally could have used
recreated
Widdershins.
it.
I always forget about the bombastic word of the day because it's like I always scroll down and so it's out of my view and so I don't think of it.
Yeah, we have like an agenda, like every segment, and Widdershins is all the way up at the top.
But
Considered as unlucky. Oh, I do have a question. Is it because part of it is considered as unlucky? Is it unlucky if it's going in the opposite direction of the sun?
Yes, it's not Widdershins. I didn't know that before this, but I'm guessing that's what it means.
That makes the most.
it just
sense
bothers
to
me because it's the opposite of the right hand rule.
Facts,
So
because counterclockwise is positive. I feel like that was kind of arbitrary, though, right?
well, yeah, it completely was. It was just
Yeah.
for defining. All right, what's our next segment, Daniel?
It is now time for the holiday segment. We always do a holiday segment. It is pretty close to Valentine's Day, and so that's
We're gonna do a Valentine's Day song by
I really
that was,
hope not.
It was a joke. We're not gonna do it.
We're never doing another song ever again.
Never.
Just a quick heads up. until we do.
Yeah.
Until
4th of July,
Halloween
watch
rolls
out.
around again.
Oh
Good.
no, a 4th of July episode.
We
Can't
just
imagine.
completely ripped the Star Spangled Banner or something.
We're talking about Valentine's Day.
Continuing.
As I said in the like 13 some odd minute intro, we're gonna be giving relationship advice. I think Lindsay, you have something for us? You want to start us off, and we can just kind of throw things in as we see fit. You do have a date tomorrow, so you're doing better than us right now, relationship wise. So
I guess.
you're going first. That's kind of the criterion I was going
Oh,
with.
okay. Well.
So if you had one
advice.
if you had one piece of advice for someone, you're going on a first date. I assume. So give some advice for first date.
Not us, obviously, because we already know everything. This is for the
ask-
people.
Open-ended questions, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let a conversation just die out. Ask interesting questions that allow the conversation to keep flowing.
So, just spitballing here. Theoretically, if I asked a question such as who would win in a fight, Batman or Superman, and they answer Batman, I just leave them, right? With the check and just leave?
Well, first off, that's a closed-ended question. I said ask open.
Well, but
I'm
it still
asking for
it needs to be
disappointment.
asked for the sake of a relationship.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think if you actually want that answer, you should say the question should be who could beat Superman in a fight? And the true one would say no one.
Man, now we're really getting some good advice here.
Yeah.
If I had some advice, I mean, you really want that special someone to really have a good idea for who you are. You know, you want them to feel like you're being yourself when you're on a date first or whatever. So if you like wearing sweats every day, that's what you should wear. If you wear athletic shorts and a t-shirt, that's what you should wear on your date.
What if I wear a Superman jacket every single day?
That's exactly what you should wear on the date.
All right. Good stuff.
Brent, what would you say is a piece of advice that we should
I have
Yeah,
a side note, not necessarily advice. This is more geared towards the ladies listening, which is currently probably my mom, sister, and Taylor, of who I know. But like, so it bothers me when girls don't like doors opened for them, because that like they are under the influence that like the guy is thinking that is like, oh, they can't do it, blah, 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 blah. No, the real reason is like the guy gets so much more enjoyment from that than the girl. Like the act of doing that, I think, is much more for the guy's sake to make him feel like he's being useful than for the girl.
I mean, really, that's not the case for me at all. I just kind of do it because I do it anyways.
So the
Like
reason
I open doors for people. That's just what I do.
yeah.
It's
Well, okay.
kind of my thing. I'm known as the door open guy.
They call me the door opener.
Well, okay. So the reason behind it, I understand what you're saying, Brent. A lot of I won't say a lot of. I've encountered women who do not like or have gotten insulted that the door was open for them because whoever thought that she wasn't capable of doing it, not legitimately, but that's what was assumed. But the real reasons behind it is what I've come to or figure out is that the real reason behind opening doors for someone is like when you're opening a door, it's like, and like just like any other rule of chivalry, it's like more so to show like the respect and value of someone to someone. So opening a door, when you open a door, the person who's opening the door is the first one that would take any kind of attack or something flying from while you're opening the door, and it's also the last person to enter if something was coming from behind. If it comes to a car door, you're the first person to open the door. You can check to see if there's anything in the car or anyone in the car about to jump out at you, and then at the same time, the lady's the first one safe inside the car if it's actually safe. Just like walking on if you're walking along street, the guy is supposed to walk on the side of the street. That way, it's to protect her. It's not because she's incapable of uh, opening a door for herself. It's that it's supposed to be to show value, how much they value you and respect you.
Well, like yeah, there are definitely practical reasons for it, but like I was kind of ignoring that for the sake of just people who are like just out of principle they don't like it.
Yeah,
I just feel like that's why
I don't mind.
explained
I
it.
don't mind if I were to open a door for someone, they're like, "Don't open doors for me." I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Like, maybe it's just a thing. Everyone's got things that bother them. That's just their thing. But it'd be a little bit of a turnoff if someone got like angry about it. You know, especially if it was like the first time. I've never been in that situation, so I can't really speak to it. On the topic, uh, who do you think should who do you think should foot the bill on the date, or should someone foot the whole bill on the date? I'm of the opinion that whoever asked the other on the date should foot the bill, especially like early on. If I asked someone on a first date, I would foot the bill because I asked them on the date. You know what I'm
Because you're
saying?
asking to take them to dinner. That's kind of implied. It should be implied that you're willing to pay for it.
I've never considered
least
though
offer.
a girl like because my standard answer would be a guy, but if a girl asked a guy and then expected the guy to pay the bill, that's a humorous
That's what I'm
thought.
saying.
But I still honestly, even if that were the situation, the guy should have said no. Like it's standard procedure, and it is expected of the guy to pay the bill. So unless you like pre-set up an agreement, I feel like some of the terms of agreeing to a date are like by social standards. If you're the guy, you're paying. But like, can you imagine me like that like the standards in place, and then your girl's just like, pretty hungry, don't have any money. Hey, do you want to go on a date?
That's true.
Get rich quick.
I was talking to my roommate from freshman year, and he had gone on a date with a girl, and he was like, he was like, yeah, someone was off, and I couldn't figure it out. And he told us the story, and we were like, no, I can tell you exactly what was wrong with it. We were like, this, and this. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. But one of the things that happened is he like they were just kind of getting to know each other. And he asked, so what are some of your hobbies? And one of the things she said was, oh, I like to go on dates.
Ooh.
So we're kind of, the implication is that we drew from it, because none of us know where it all is. Like, we're like, it kind of sounds like she just rips meals from these guys by having them take her out on dates.
Hey, whatever works.
So, I mean, I respect the game, you know. Get meals however you can.
Yeah,
But
you do what you gotta do in this world.
I mean, the other thing, like, outside of a dating context, it's kind of polite to pay. Like, I could see paying as a meal as like a disrespect thing, but I feel like in most situations, like a respect thing, or like, hey, I appreciate your friendship. I got some extra money. I'm gonna pay for a meal. Sometimes if I'm going out to meal with someone, it's like, oh, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
I never do that. Like
I know you don't, Brent.
I've done it like a couple times, but like honestly, part of the reason I don't do it is because sometimes people like I'll be with like a guy friend or something, and they'll think it's like weird, and then it's like it just becomes weird because they think it's weird. And I was like, it was all right. Moving on. Pretend it didn't happen.
I have never had that happen where it was weird. That reminds me of that one time. Oh my gosh! Every time I think I have a good story, I think I've talked about it on the podcast. Anyways, I'll just cut it if I feel like
we're
that's
cutting
bit
a lot
now.
this episode.
I feel like it's a bit now where I'm just like, all right, I'm cutting that. Anyways, the time because a lot of us used to sit outside at lunch every day our senior year, and one day Brent comes up to me and he's like, hey, we're ordering pizzas, you want to pitch in? And I'm like, well, look, I don't have money, so I don't like, I have enough money, but it's the last money in my wallet, so well, here's what we're gonna do. Because we were at the gas station.
Oh
we just
no!
happened to get to
Oh,
time,
this
and I was like,
story.
I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket.
Oh my.
And I bought a lottery ticket, and it cashed back like $5, which was it was whatever it was. It was exactly what my share of the pizza price would have been. And I was like, sweet. Here you
No,
go.
no. Okay, you didn't tell that story well enough. So I set up with a couple of friends. It was like the last day of senior year or something, and so I was gonna order pizza for my friends who all sat outside. We all chipped in, and then I asked Daniel, I was like, "Hey, I haven't ordered them yet. Do you want to get in on this?" He's like, "Sure." And so we go to the gas station because he needs to get some money, and so we're doing stuff, and then he's like, "Hey, let's get lottery tickets." And I was like, "Sure." And so I pull out my wallet. And he's like, "No, I got you." And so he buys 2 lottery tickets. He gives one to himself and one to me. We walk out of the gas station. We scratch it off. And I'm like, "Hey, like $4 or something it was." And he was like, "Great, that'll pay for my pizza." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in now." And I'm like, okay, I guess. I suppose
you're
that
making
can
this
happen.
up.
This is 100% what happened.
I don't remember.
That is definitely. Oh man.
Man, I'm hilarious.
That's the reason you're not going to Vegas, bud. Anyway, so I think that covers first. So moral of the story: if you go on a first date and you buy them a lottery ticket and they win, let them keep the money. So that's just for all you people going on dates on Valentine's Day. Anyway, moving on, we got a mini hypothetical for you. So the idea of this is it's literally just going to be pretty much a yes or no question. And so the question is, would you so there is a button in front of you. There is a 50% chance that when you press this button, your bank account will shift by 3 decimal points. And the chances is when you press it, there's a 50% chance it'll shift like to the left, and 50% chance it'll switch to the right. And so theoretically, let's say you have $1,000 in your bank account. If you choose to press this button, there's a 50% chance you'll end with $1, but there's a 50% chance you'll end with $1 million. So given your current bank account, are you going to press the button? You can't transfer any money out or anything.
Well, yeah, why not? Because I mean, if you move 0 to the left 3 decimals, 0, 0 to the right 3 decimals. So, yeah, I'll just press the button, just kicks, you know.
Just for fun. There's no way you have $0 in your bank account.
I don't. I don't. I'm just playing. Why not? I mean, because it's like, in a lot of scenarios, I probably wouldn't. But at this point in my life, does it matter if I have saving? The truth is, it's not that much. At this age, like, we can take risks and recover without too much trouble, assuming none of us has just like a massive fortune.
Well, my father, William A. Clark, left me with the entire glowing. What was his business? Did we say glow in the dark dental floss? He left me with the patent for that in his will, and so I actually am a multi-millionaire. Lindsay, what's your answer?
Yeah. I would not do it because I'm safe where I'm at right now financially. I've got more than enough money, and if I have a chance of losing it, I would not be happy with myself.
Well, so here's my philosophy. It's like, so if we take my current amount, it's like if I press this button, there's a chance that I'll be pretty set back and it would become a problem. But I like Daniel said, eventually I would recover. But if it swaps to the other way, there's a decent chance I would get money that like I wouldn't see for possibly the rest of my life or like decades. So I'd press it. I'd like just the possibility of greatness, and given it's like a 50-50 chance, I'd go for it.
Money doesn't mean that much to me. Don't care. I don't need it.
Well, then why aren't you pressing it?
Because like there's still a necessity of it, but like the need or want of more in my mind is not present. I don't need it anymore. I don't want anymore. I'm good where I'm at. My bank account's increasing as the paychecks go on. Like, I'm not worried about income. And if I lose my money, then it's like nearly, where would I be at? Yeah, it's nearly resetting all of the work that I've put in the past, ever since I was 16. So the money I have saved up right now shows all the work I've put in to save money since I was 16. I'm not gonna
Did
backtrack on that.
start a business. Anyway, all right. So we got 2 yeses and 1 no. We'll let you know when we press the button how things work out. One of us might need more help, so there might be more
We
ads.
should program that. Like, we should flip a coin right now. Let me flip a coin and we'll find out which
All right.
one of us
Well,
get what.
Okay.
Okay.
Heads. Is in your favor. Tails is not in your favor.
Yeah, heads is positive, tails is negative. So you guys are both
Okay.
heads, right?
Well, yes. Are we doing one for everyone?
I mean, I guess we don't have
All right,
to.
sure. One for everyone.
I'll flip one. I'll flip one.
Okay, never mind. I will
Heads.
flip one too.
I win.
Okay, here
preparing to flip.
is. Wait. Oh yeah. Here's
I am very poor. This
I
is
officially have $0. I win.
well, okay. I was gonna flip it for everyone, but I got for Daniel. I got positive. For Brent, I got positive. Let's see
Aha.
if I get- And I got negative. See, this is why I don't play these games.
That's why I do.
all right.
Oh,
Good freaking stuff. Lindsay, world building. Give us a quick rundown, and we will start our 5-minute timer.
All right, world building. We introduced it 2 episodes ago. We are going to continue it. We're taking a little bit of time near the end of our episodes to kind of construct a fictional universe, just a planet. Where I don't know what we're striving for quite yet, but so far what we have a central bridge around the planet ring of water leading to islands around the planet. Atmosphere exists. There's a white dwarf that is a moon star, so like that's also known as a moon star. Sorry, and then the planet revolves around a red giant. Bombasia is what we decided to call this planet. And asteroids caught up in the ring of water, are caught up in the water ring, that these creatures use as islands or different kind of points of interest. And then there's both the planet side and the space side of the existing atmospheres. And then for so far, we have the main creature, I think is what we agreed on. The main humanoid creature that stands on 2 legs, has 3 eyes. Each eye has 2 pupils. And it lays eggs. That is their reproductive method. And we agreed that their skin color is a turquoise.
Alien blue.
Alien blue.
It's different.
Okay.
I should have told you that you can't just read because those are the notes I took, and so he started to read directly from the notes I took, but I did not use full sentences or complete thoughts in any way. All right, so I'm gonna start the timer now, and we're gonna spend 5 minutes. What do we want to focus on?
Let's talk
plant
about
life.
culture a little bit.
Culture,
Okay.
like it.
Plant life. We could go culture or plant life. I'm good with that.
We did the dudes last time, so let's do culture.
Okay, so I think this should include maybe how they travel,
The bridge.
Well, yeah, but like every island connects to the bridge, right?
Yeah.
How'd they travel before the bridge?
There was no before the bridge. There's always been a bridge.
Okay, so now we're getting into history.
No,
There's
but
definitely some propaganda in there.
yeah, the Church of the Bridge. But so
And religion. There you go.
Yeah, it's totally a religion. Church of the Bridge. But so we should so are they like tribes? Do they have a central government? Do they have, is it like nations? Because the way, so there's the central bridge, which I'm assuming no individual owns, or maybe one corporation owns the bridge and then they put tolls on the bridge, and that's the main issue. Anyway, so because it's like the places they live on are asteroids that were caught inside of the water ring, and so And I suppose you could boat. Anyway, so there's like a lot of small like island type deals, and so there's no really one large nation that we could do. So I think a tribal system might be better.
I think maybe a tribal system to start, but I think at this point, because the bridge is such a unifying thing, I think it should be a very peaceful planet.
All right, peaceful.
Like that, like
ring.
the people that live on the water ring kind of stand together as one unified group.
Okay.
Communism? Question mark?
Like, not exactly.
Yeah.
All right, you scared me there.
Like at this point, they're kind of, because they've unified, they've been able to advance technology faster because they've been able to utilize resources from different asteroids that have crashed around at different parts of the ring.
Mm-hmm. So, what type of government do they have?
They have no government. They
No government.
they only obey the bridge.
Only obey the bridge.
It randomly has traffic or like highway signs just pop up with a different message that they have to follow.
They haven't discovered alien life yet, but sometimes messages from beyond appear that have just like escaped as space junk, but then landed on their water ring, and they attempt to decipher it as messages from the bridge.
Well, that could be an interesting like introduction of conflict. Is like something gets caught in this ring that isn't an asteroid, and so they're like, "What the heck is this thing?" And then
Okay, so like everything that crashes into the ring is seen as like a divine message from the bridge. And so if like an asteroid with a gold vein in it comes, or like, we have to use this for something, this is
yeah,
this is
it's like it's
providence.
basically destiny.
Yes.
So stuff that crashes into the ring is considered destiny. And so like the bridge is the central way of life that like they worship the bridge, wouldn't like you'd have to, because that's how you get around. That's how you've lived. This is a way of life. This is the way.
So let's say they were to develop aeronautics that was suitable for the air on their planet. Would they be able to, so like if the water ring is going around the equator, would they be able to like fly across the prime meridian to another, like the other side of the water bridge? Or is the weather too hazardous?
I don't understand what you mean.
So like if you have a sphere,
Yeah.
and the water ring is going around the belt, like in the middle.
Laterally. Sure.
Yeah, in the middle horizontally. Would someone be able to fly from one end of the water belt to the other, like as a direct line, like around the longitudinal?
So are they going like along the arc, or like straight through somehow?
Like as opposed, like, no, not straight through, like along the arc of the planet, just not over the water bridge.
Okay, so like basically cutting through like a swath through, instead of following the arc, they're like bypassing from one section to the other.
Yeah, like if you were to see the water as a circle, you'd just be going across it like a diameter line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, but I don't think that they would. We're out of time, by the way, but we can finish this thought. I don't think they would. Why would they develop? I almost don't think they would develop aeronautic travel.
I mean, if you want to communicate with people on the other side of the planet, it takes a long time to travel. I mean, this planet's big enough that a white dwarf revolves around it.
Yeah. So, well, I'll just type in aeronautics.
Which, I mean, we could just say they never developed it, but
and it could be that like
might be interesting to talk about.
Some people think that like the aeronautics is like heresy. It's like, how dare you bypass the bridge? The bridge is the way.
That's true. They never developed aeronautics because it's heretical.
Yeah. All right.
That's good. I like that.
I'll add that in. But is Heresy. That's not how you spell that.
All right.
That's okay.
All right, I think we're ready to close out.
Let's freaking do it. Who's closing?
All right. As I said earlier, another week, another podcast. Good to be here.
That sounds so depressing.
It kind of does.
Why does it sound depressing? I like it. Another week.
Well,
another
you have no energy when you say that. It sounds like this is the one thing that's keeping you afloat in life, and so you need to do it. But
Here, let me
in all
try
reality,
again.
you
Let
want
me
to
try
be
again.
painting.
Another week, another podcast.
Right. All right. Just keep
How's
going.
that? There you go.
Hilarious.
Networking, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow us. Please comment, subscribe, like, do the hokey pokey, whatever it's called. Do it for us and tell your friends and your grandmas about our podcast so that we can get bigger. It can become more of an investment for us, and we can just make a more interesting podcast, I guess. We're trying to grow, and we need your support. We're not going to be one of those people who are going to be huge sellouts and try to. I don't think we're going to try to get some Patreon because we're not going to.
We're not doing Patreon.
Tomfoolery people. We're not going to do something.
Unless Will Smith is listening, in which case, please support us, Will Smith.
Yeah, but he doesn't need Patreon to support us.
In fact,
Yeah, so
we'll
we're
make a
not try-
Patreon for Will Smith. We will support
Totally.
Will Smith through this podcast.
We're trying not to be complete sellouts here, so we need your extra oomph of effort for us to grow. Aside from that, you guys got any thoughts about today's episode?
I do. So, one thing I'd like to mention, I wasn't sure about the hypothetical was kind of questionable initially, but it turned out to be one of my favorite hypotheticals. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Shout out to Mother. What's up? You've been shouted out. And then also, so just like Daniel was saying at the beginning, if you don't know us directly in person, we think it would be super cool if you could leave a comment. Like, probably YouTube would be the easiest, or you could like direct message us through social media or whatever. If you just wanted to let us know how you found it, that like we'd be super interested to know just how you ended up upon us. If you don't know us directly, or even if you do know us directly, you could tell us what your favorite episode is or something. Just let us know.
And say something funny for us to shut you out with.
I mean, it doesn't have to be funny. There's no pressure. If you are the most unfunny person you know, that's okay. Please still leave a comment.
But if it is funny, also feel free to leave that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
For me, long episodes, like up on an hour and a half now. That's okay. I had a lot of fun tonight. I think normally we're gonna be shooting for like an hour, maybe a little more, but
Maybe
we
a
had to
little
balance
less,
out
around
for
an
last
hour.
episode.
Mm-hmm. It's all Daniel's fault.
And if any of the listeners have also participated in something like Global Game Jam or any other kind of like competition where you're pushed for time, let me know your experience about that.
Defend him in the
That'd be
comments.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Also, throw a comment about how crazy of a thought Brent had with the sun changing the.
Please point out how Brent being wrong affected you in your daily life.
Personally.
It just reminds me of the time. Like, there's only been a very few times that I've caught Brent like he kind of took a stand and he would end up being wrong. It was once we were in a friend's dorm room and he said that something about like how much peanut butter would take to fill the room or something like that. I don't remember what exactly what it was, but I remember being so proud.
I
It was the
totally
first time
remember
that I was
that.
right about something when Brent was so sure that he was wrong or that he was
Okay,
right.
no, it was more of a passing, like it under the okay, this is gonna extend the time, but long story short, it was under the circumstance of just a quick one-off joke that he took as a complete fact, that assuming I had done all the math for it, when in reality I was just like, like 50 gallons of peanut butter could fill this room or something. Which
don't
it was
diminish
just
my
for the
little bit of
sake of
pride,
comedy. And
Yeah.
so the fun fact, I actually did the sun thing for comedy too. All right, end it.
All right. Well, with that, and me being right for once against Brent, everyone have a bombastic week.
We're definitely cutting that.